Every minute going into Africa, Europe has its own unique challenges. And that comes with sub-zero temperatures. You're riding at a temperature which is below freezing point. You have to deal with the extreme cold, possibility of frostbite in the hand. Then you have to deal with strong winds. Okay. Then also you have to deal with probably ice on the road, which is black ice, which can become very slippery and dangerous to ride. So you're asking me, do I like Zainab? The answer is yes, I like her a lot. If you're asking me, do I want to be with Zainab? The answer is yes, I want to be with Zainab. But the other part is Zainab is not available. So we have that potential hidden. But something, somewhere, I don't know, just keep holding us from unleashing that potential. People say it's leadership. It's our politician. Okay. Yes, it could be our politician, but we, the followers, what are we doing? Like we saw a lot of election where people are voting because of stomach infrastructure. Sure. And we are blaming the politician and we are collecting stomach infrastructure. That's hypocrisy. If we know that, yes, we want to end bad governance in Nigeria, then we too, as followers, we should also stop the bad behavior we're doing. We should stop the issue of running stomach infrastructure, thuggery. Tell me, if all of us turn our backs and say we will not follow, there won't be anyone that will do thuggery for politicians, how do you think there will be violence? There won't be violence.
Enigmatic Mr. Kunle Adeyanju. Call him history maker. Call him champion. Call him a patriotic Nigerian. Mr. Kunle Adeyanju, an born Nigerian, embarked on a journey from London to Lagos. He came to Nigeria and was welcomed by people because his motivation for the journey was well appreciated. This is Rahman Abiola Toyib, Head of Human Interest and Diaspora News, reporting live for Legi TV. Mr. Kunle Adeyanju.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How would you describe yourself, Mr. Kunle?
Well, I call myself an adventurer, a motivational speaker, an author, okay, and a guy who just lived this life, That's who I am.
Thank you, Mr. Kunle.
Yeah.
You embarked on the journey from London to Lagos.
Correct.
What is the motivation, sir?
Yeah, you see, for me, my skills to make the world a little bit better. Trying to use those gifts that I have to see how I can use it to address a cause to touch the lives of the less privileged in the society. So for me, that is actually the driving force behind what I did, which is the riding from London to Lagos.
Mr. Kunle,
yeah.
You took a ride from London to Lagos. How challenging was it? What are the challenges that you faced?
I can tell you the ride has been extremely challenging. Every minute, every kilometers of the 12,000 kilos I ride has its own peculiar and unique challenges. Coming in from Europe, going into Africa, Europe has its own unique challenges. And that comes with sub-zero temperatures. You're riding at a temperature which is below freezing point. You have to deal with the extreme cold, possibility of frostbite in the hand. Then you have to deal with strong winds. Okay. Then also you have to deal with probably ice on the road, which is black ice, which can become very slippery and dangerous to ride. So Europe has its own series of challenges along with it. Then coming into Africa, it has its own series of challenges too. Riding through the Sahara, coming in through Morocco, where I had to ride in through the Sahara. The Sahara, if the extreme temperature, the heat doesn't cause so much trouble for you, the wind will cause trouble for you. The strong wind of the desert will cause trouble for you. If that doesn't cause, the sand will cause trouble for you. So the Sahara, Africa too has its own unique challenges, which is really, really hard. Then coming down into West Africa, you have the humidity. The humid temperature will cause challenges for you. Then the risk of animals, wild animals on the road. They're also a challenge. You're riding and you have heads of monkey running across you, or you're seeing a lion and you have to, remain calm and try to evade and run away from run away from the lion. It all has its unique challenges. Then when you are in the Sahara, like the road is practically free. You probably own the road to yourself. But when you come down into West Africa, the road is busier. You need to contend with the trucks. Sometimes you also need to contend with bad roads. And you also, in Sahara, is a straight road. Coming down here, the roads are winding. So you need to contend with the winding of the road. You need to contend with the driving culture of people, because the road people are busy more on the road. And the driving habit. You need to contend with potholes, bad road. So everywhere you go, there are just challenges of it all. But the thing is, like, those challenges there, they are part of what make the trip interesting. Because if the trip was that easy, was fun, it's gonna be boring. But because the challenges are there, those are part of what drive your adrenaline up, and that make the trip interesting.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kunle.
Thank you.
When you came to Nigeria, even before you came to Nigeria, everybody was happy to meet you. We as media, legit media, we are the biggest digital media in this country, and we are the fourth Facebook publisher in the whole world. We've been amplifying your journey from London down to Lagos.
That's true.
When you came, how happy were you? What was your reaction when you saw people, giving you heroic welcome? Are you happy with this? How happy are you?
The fact is, I'm blown. I'm blown. Like that. If you look at this, when I started this ride, I didn't plan for this. I didn't see this. I didn't see it was gonna be like this. I was just doing my own thing. But when it took this dimension, as they say, you can't tell where nature is taking you.
Exactly.
You just keep doing your own thing. But whatever nature lays on your path, you ride the waves. And that's what I'm doing. So when I saw the huge number of people at the border, I couldn't believe it. And I said, this is for me. And I realized that the noble thing I was doing, the cause I was promoting, touched people's life. People found their inspiration. Some people found their voices. Some people found the reason to be alive again from it. People can be living, or people can be existing. They are alive, but they're just existing. But I saw that a lot of people, probably who were existing before, found something that sparked that fire in them. And they started living. And I guess that's why that message resonated with quite a lot of people and connected with it. And thank you for your media houses, because I've gotten quite a lot of feedback, how well you've, been instrumental in spreading the message out. So yes, while I'm doing this, if there are no good media houses like you, pushing the messages out to people, how will people see it? How will the millions of people who are getting inspired around the world be inspired? So it's a team between us. It's a teamwork. I didn't do it alone. We all did it together. Yes, I was the guy in the front line. But, like they say, the tallest oak tree in the forest didn't just become the tallest oak tree in the forest. Because when it was probably lucky to have been planted on the right soil that has better nutrients. Also, when it was growing up, it was lucky because the bigger trees protected it from the scorching sun of the forest, as the sun would have dried it out. Also, the bigger tree shielded it from the strong wind of the rains in the forest, as it would have been uprooted. So, why the tallest oak tree became the tallest, it got support to become the tallest tree. So, like on this ride is successful today. We are inspiring millions of people around the world because people like your media houses too join the wave and help us to spread the message out. That's why we have that huge impact in society. So I say thank you to you guys too.
Mr. Kunle, you are an incredible man.
Thank you.
So this adventure, can you do it again? What next?
Actually, yes, I'm doing it. My kind of person, I'm a guy who like planning. This ride actually took me a year to plan. Okay. And by virtue of the kind of thing I've done for myself, the kind of places I've worked, I'm a kind of guy who, while I was working, I built business plan for companies. What are we doing now? How are we going to be running this business in the next 5 years? How are we going to be doing it in the next 10 years? So it's the same thing I do for this company I do for my life. I plan ahead. In the next 5 years, what do I want to do with my life? In the next 10 years, where do I see myself? So all those things I want to do in the next 10 years is lined out. So London to Lagos was a plan I did years ago. It's just materializing now. Also, I have another one. The next bucket list I have, which I'm going to share with you, is I intend to ride my bike from Lagos to Israel. Then from Israel, I'm going to go to Turkey. Then through Turkey, I'm going to go to Tibet. Actually, the destination is Tibet. I'm going through the Asian country, Tibet, because I want to ride on the Tibetan plain.
Okay.
You know, that's the roof of the world. You know, as they say, God lives in Tibet. So I really want to go experience that. Yeah, while in Tibet, the destination for me actually is to go to Everest Base Camp, ride to Mount Everest Base Camp, park my bike somewhere, then try to attempt to climb Everest.
Mr. Kunle, before you came to Nigeria, many people thought that mission was impossible. And many people were asking, because of polio, why polio? Your plan is to eradicate polio in Africa. Why polio? Why not malaria? Why not other diseases, Africans are battling with?
Okay. The first part, let me take the first part of your question. The truth is, a lot of people said it's impossible. It can't be done. It's not true. It's not this. I heard that it can't be done. You just die on the way. This, but the fact with life, it's always impossible until someone does it. That's why the life works. Everything is impossible until one person does it. And when one person does it, that aha moment comes. Okay, so it's possible. So for every people who doubted to say it's not possible, and when people doubt things, they say it's not possible like that, it doesn't deter me. And neither do I get angry with them or when they say all those things. I don't, because it would be unfair on me if I get angry over things like that, or like you're being pressured by those people. Why did I say so? Because the vision was given to me. It wasn't given to them. Sure. It's my vision. So if they can't see it, it's because it wasn't given to them, so they can't see it. So that's okay. But that the vision was given to, I saw it. I know it's possible. I know I can do it. I know it's fraught with risk.
Definitely.
Well, yes, with good planning and mitigating those risks, yes, I can do it. And that's what happened. And that's why I was able to do it. Because I had that vision, I held on strong onto that vision. Then you ask me why polio. Yeah. Well, for me, polio is a personal thing. I say a personal thing because while growing up as a child, right, I had a friend that had polio, okay? And all those things that child normally do, as child would normally do, like go to play football, go to swim, go to run, all those child things. My friend couldn't do it. He just stayed at the sideline, just watching us. He couldn't do it. And I felt the pain in his life. I know what he was going through. I know it was so difficult for his family, everyone around, even himself. My friend died like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I won't say polio killed him, no, but I'm sure that limitation may have contributed to some of the things where led to him for his early pass on. So for me, I just said to myself I'm going to use all the means I have and try to address this cause, because I don't want to see another children go through this. So that's why I just chose polio.
It is always impossible until someone does it. So there is something, I get hold of from you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for that. Let us talk about Eagle.
Okay.
That should be a gift for you.
It is. Eagle is actually, I say, a blessing. For the last 41 days that I've been on the ride, on the trip so far, Eagle has been my only companion.
And you're going to sell it?
Yes, I'm going to auction it, because I think it's going to be a disrespect to Eagle if I keep riding Eagle. I hope whoever is going to buy Eagle will dedicate it to like a museum, because it's a bike that went through a lot with me. It was my companion. It was a bike that didn't disappoint me, cooperated with me all along. And it's a bike I've come to fall in love with. So I'm going to auction it, and larger chunk of the proceeds is going to charity. The same polio cause and other charitable causes too.
Okay. Let us talk about Zainab. I think you met Zainab
Okay, all right.
because we're doing a lot of stories about Zainab,
Okay.
since you were in Ivory Coast, and of course she came down to Nigeria. I think she left
Correct.
yesterday.
Yes, correct.
So, what's up about Zainab now? Then,
Well, Zainab is a very good friend of mine.
yeah,
I knew Zainab about 6 months ago, and we've been quite close since then. If you're asking me, do I like Zainab? The answer is yes, I like her a lot. If you're asking me, do I want to be with Zainab? The answer is yes, I want to be with Zainab. But the other part is Zainab is not available. So, that's the way, sometimes that's the way life works.
of course.
Sometimes you don't get all the things you want, which is life, so it's okay.
You are a born a Rotarian,
Yes,
and you've lived some of your life, shortly
correct.
between Lagos and London.
Yes.
So, can you compare the two lives and
Uh,
how peculiar are they? I mean, especially to you.
Well, you see, living in Europe and living in Nigeria, it's totally different. They're totally different. Because if you look at the life in Europe, is a developed economy. So it's like taking, let me use this analogy, it's like having a matured woman, an old woman, and a young woman. Which one would be more exciting? The young lady.
Sure.
Africa is the young woman of our world. Africa is an interesting continent. There's so much diversity, there's so much thing happening. You can be creative, you can be, there's so much excitement in Africa, so much energy. Europe is a regimented system. The life is just there. You just follow the path. You can only be creative within that little ambience of, freedom you have. But Africa, you can lose your creativity wild and really do something. So that's why for me, I find it difficult to stay permanently in Europe. I can't live there. I can only live in Africa. And that's what I always say, because I discovered this and I always say to myself, Africa is my home. I'm an African and I will always be an African. And I'm happy, particularly happy, and I always say, Lord, I thank you for making me an African.
You are truly an African champion. When we started the interview, I said you are people's champion.
Thank you.
Because you are a pathfinder. So what you did is very phenomenal. So we're holding 2023 election. So what do you think about the future of Nigeria?
I think Nigeria has a great future. You see, we have the potential. You see, potential is different. Having a potential is different from actualizing that potential.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like a searing bomb. If the bomb is not exploded, it doesn't have that destructive force. Nigeria is like that. We have that potential hidden. But something, somewhere, I don't know, just keep holding us from unleashing that potential. People say it's leadership. It's our politician. Okay. Yes, it could be our politician, but we, the followers, what are we doing? Like we saw a lot of election where people are voting because of stomach infrastructure.
Sure.
And we are blaming the politician and we are collecting stomach infrastructure. That's hypocrisy. If we know that, yes, we want to end bad governance in Nigeria, then we too, as followers, we should also stop the bad behavior we're doing. We should stop the issue of running stomach infrastructure, thuggery. Tell me, if all of us turn our backs and say we will not follow, there won't be anyone that will do thuggery for politicians, how do you think there will be violence? There won't be violence. But it is these same people who are complaining, they're the same people that will go and start into violence during an election or something. Or it's the same people who are complaining that, bad governance, bad governance. When it's time to do stomach infrastructure, they will be the one in the front to collect, to sell their votes.
It's quite sad.
So that's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So while we are pointing fingers at the politician for bad governance, we also ourselves, we should be disciplined. We should our allegiance should be to our country. I see a lot of Christians call themselves spiritual Israelites. But they are not doing what the spiritual Israelites are doing. God said, I have given you the land, go in and possess. But did Israel stop there at the gate still praying? They went to do the work. Nigerians would rather prefer to spend all their life praying and not doing the work. How do you think it will happen? So God will come down and do it? So if we know we want to change things, then we should actually go out and do those things, those acts that will make change happen. I mean, you look at, I'm not going into religion, but that's the main problem we're having. Go to Israel. I've been to Israel like 5, 6 times. You'll be amazed how hardworking people are. Can I say the same for my country? The answer is no. I've seen the culture of people. People want quick gratification. People don't want to persevere. People don't want to, put in that effort. Everybody wants to ride a private jet, Kaliko Dangote today. It doesn't work that way. It took him probably maybe 30 years to get there. Yeah. And he worked hard, extremely hard. But people will see that and say, oh, it's because he has government connection. Okay, is he the only one with government connection? What about the thousands of other people who have better connection than him? So it is hard work. And that's what our culture our youth lack in Nigeria. We need to be hardworking. We need to stop this idea of quick gratification. All this, and that's what is fueling all this Yahoo move. We need to stop it. We need to change, the name of our country for good. Our country is blessed. We need to stop this. If we continue to do this, we are soiling the name of our nation. And it saddens me. And that is why when I was going to go on this ride, I designed the flag. And the first flag I put there was a Nigerian flag. Because I'm proudly a Nigerian. No matter what anybody says. Anywhere, in Europe, from London I started. Even before I moved, I flew that flag and I rode around the city of London. I went to Westminster, I went everywhere, and the Nigerian flag. Police stopped me and said, oh, what are you doing? I said, is there anything wrong with me putting the flag on my bike? And they said, oh, no, okay, we just want to ask what you're doing. I said, no, I'm just riding my bike and I'm displaying my country. And that's it. I didn't commit any offense. There's no law that I can't put a flag on my bike. But I was proud to show I'm a Nigerian. We are good people. Yes, there are some bad names, things we've heard about our country. But generally, Nigerians are good people. We just need some of our youths, to stop those things that soil our names. And we're going to be a very great country.
Rotarian Adeyanju, your ride is synonymous with endurance, resilience, and determination. Focus. What is your message to your fans and Team Legion of Nigerian youths?
I think you mentioned the key words. Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors, once said, he said, without commitment, you will never start. But most importantly, without consistency, you will never finish. And that is true. You will see, what I've realized with our youths, or most people you tend to see, is a lot of people have short attention span. In the sense that they start something, but they can't persevere through, then they drop it. You see a lot of people start businesses, they'll start this business today, another 3 months you hear, oh, that one is not working, I'm starting another one. Then another 3 months, that one is not working, I'm starting. So if you keep going through the trial phase, keep starting, when do you go through the growth phase? Because you can't persevere, you can't endure, and because they didn't think well before going into it. They just thought, oh, somebody is selling something, this one is the hot cake, they do the jumping. And when you jump, you discover it's not what it is, then you jump out. That is what people are doing. People can probably stay back and think, what do I really want for myself? What do I want to do? Then begin to do those things, then persevere. Persevere, that's the key word. Develop that resilient spirit to say, okay, yes, it's going to be tough. I will feel like quitting. Several nights, I'll go back to my home crying. In the night, I'll wake up, I won't be able to sleep. I'll be shedding tears. It's part of the story. When you finally made it, it's the story you will share. I'm sure if somebody is close to Aliko Dangote or Tedola, Mike Adeniga, all those people, if you ask them, there are several moments they've cried in their room. In their night, they couldn't sleep. They were worried about a lot of things. But when you see them outside, what do? They wake up in the morning, they wipe their tears, they continue to do those things. Everything has not been rosy for them.
Yeah.
Because it's life, it happens to everyone. But it's only those people who persevere, who stand true, that wins. And that's the message for the youth is, please, let us have that resilient spirit. Let us develop that attitude of perseverance. It's going to be tough, but when you don't drop the ball and you keep, improving and improving and improving, you're gonna win someday. That's the way it is. And you find that when you do those things, you keep persevering, you keep doing what you're doing. You just want to get to a point, the universe start cooperating with you. On this ride, I saw it several times, that the universe were just cooperating to make things happen, work for me. I'll give you an example. The first day I started the ride, I got to Calais in France, and I came out of the ferry from London. Okay. I landed in Calais. So I was riding. The bike was coming in from London. It's calibrated in miles. But France, they use kilometers. Okay. So as I was going, I saw the speed limit was 120, and I put the bike on 120. And I thought I was just flying. I was leaving everybody. I just thought, well, maybe they are not in a hurry, or they are not going everywhere. We are not going the same thing. We don't have the same plan. And the next thing is, after like about 20 minutes, I just saw the two police bikers with their siren. They chased me down, and they flagged me down. And they were having this aggressive stand, looking at me and saying, "Do you know the speed you're doing?" I said I was doing 120. And the policeman said, "No, you are not doing 120. Then he went to his bike, he brought the scanner. And the scanner showed I was doing 195. Wow. So, and the policeman said, "Well, for overspeeding, you exceeded the speed limit by 75 kilometers. I'm going to impound this bike. And you have to go back and do your driving test. When you pass the driving test, you come back for your bike. For every day the bike is impounded, is it 50 euro or 20 euro per day?" I was devastated because like the same day I started the trip is ending. And I was just worried, I was just there. And the policeman was in the process of impounding my bike. And something happened. On the back of my bike, I have the flag, the Nigerian flag, the end polio, and the Imagine Rotary banner was there. Okay. And suddenly the wind started blowing, and the flag started flapping. And the policeman noticed the flag, and he said, "What is that?" And I said, "It's a flag, I'm on a humanitarian mission." And I said, "Okay, the top one is the Nigerian flag." He said, "Yes, I know that." I said, "The next one is end polio, and the last one is Imagine Rotary." And I said, end polio is a disease that is like affecting, it's still in Pakistan and Afghanistan, but we're trying to end it in Africa to make sure we don't have a resurgence. He said, "Come on, keep quiet, don't tell me about polio."